Welcome everyone to the Vargas Team Podcast, episode 7, 8, somewhere in that realm. So if you have found value in any of our videos, please subscribe because chances are you probably haven't subscribed yet. So this is your friendly reminder to do so. In this topic, if you're new to the channel and have no idea what we're talking about, we're just 4 real estate agents, actually more growing, but more on that later, who do real estate in different capacities in the Miami area. So if you're interested in real estate topics, tips, just market analysis, and just other things in general that probably don't even have anything to do with real estate and should probably be on a different podcast altogether, then you've come to the right place. So today we have a bunch of topics, half of which we had to throw away because, our planned guest had to leave, had an emergency. So really, we're going to wing it. I know it seems like we don't wing it on most episodes, but we do. And so we're going to do a lot more of that. So anyways, talking about podcasts, everybody knows. If you want, we'll start introducing yourself here and then go around.
My name is Mario Restrepo. I'm here with the Vargas team here at Cervera.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. You've known them.
No, but there's new people. You never know.
Subscribers every month, man.
And then, Mario will put, he's our editor as well. So make sure you put your socials on so that they can follow you on social media. They can follow you on social media. And then, you next.
Oh, okay. My name is Chloe DiPietro Vargas. I am married to this beautiful man, and I'm also a real estate agent and investor with the Vargas team.
But you handle mostly our
Confident Property Management
awesome.
company.
Awesome. Great. Just making sure.
Hi, guys. It's Isabel Garcia here with the Vargas team. For our new friends, I handle rentals, sales, and I also am the one that does all the neighborhood reels that you see on our Instagram.
Yeah, which I was going to say, when she said, hi, guys, it's Isabel, it's like the starting of the neighborhood reel, which is great. So if you've ever been on our social, every Friday we drop a neighborhood like Miami market thing that has to do, I think last one was like pumpkin patches and then like happy hours. So for those of you guys who don't care about real estate at all and just want tips on like where to get the best, drinks for under like $10, Isabel's got you covered. She's become our correspondent of alcoholism, if you will, just for you guys. She wasn't a drinker before, but now she is because she loves the team so much. But yeah, so there's a lot of topics that I want to talk about. That's a great segue.
Play me out.
It's a great segue.
Guys, I talk about farmers markets.
Yeah, it's not
Pumpkin
just alcohol,
patches.
like donuts and like all the good
Oh no, there's a lot of other things, but
cheesecake is coming up.
But the top videos have always been the top happy hour spots.
Oh yeah,
it's like our audience.
Our audience are just a bunch of
Wait, but why don't we like bring some of that food into here? Like if you, you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna sample these places, we need to sort of.
We should spend $700 on a podcast.
No, I'm just saying, if whatever that week is, right, Sarah?
Who's Sarah?
Sarah's joining us today.
Sarah's our
guys,
producer for the day. So for those of you guys who've been following, anyways, let's get to the topics. These people are like, what are we tuning into? All right, so today we're gonna talk about a lot of different things. Mario brought up a great point, which brings me to the first topic about how agents actually have to work today to get a deal done, which is so refreshing because when I came into the market in 2015, you actually had to work. In 2015, it wasn't a great market and it was actually coming down from a pretty decent market, and then it dipped into a very weird, unstable market with the oversaturation of condos. And so agents that had to stand out and make money had to work. And then we got swayed into this weird market that you put a property on the market. I mean, you recall we were putting properties without photos and we were selling them.
Yeah. A sight unseen, 6 offers, over asking, places sold themselves, and it. I'm not complaining at all. I came at an amazing time. 2022 was a blessing. Coming in and getting deals done feels really good. But now I feel like we really need to put our big boy pants on and learn how to close, because that's the one thing that we need to start doing now.
Now,
what sets us apart from those agents?
No, but real quick, I definitely want to talk about that. But going into what you were saying, where you're like, I came in at a good time. Do you think it is a good time that you came in, having this high that you came out of and then coming into this like very different market that you have to adjust? I agree that having the adjustment of having to learn how to do real estate in the proper way, because the last 2 to 3 years probably wasn't, it's not practical.
100%. I say I came at a time where I was living what a lot of people worked for to have, right? And so what does that make me do? It makes me work harder, work smarter, invest in myself. Isabel and I, we still learn every single day. And whether it's negotiations class, whether it's books, whether it's learning how to close, which is a whole nother thing than selling. Closing is a whole different animal, right? And so, yes, I do love it because now I'm putting in so much more effort to still stay where I'm at, right? When you get like, let's say in flights, right? You go to first class, you kind of want to, you tell yourself, this is what I want to work for every single day. So whenever I fly, it's first class. It's a mentality thing where you have to keep working to
Yeah.
stay there.
Isabel, you were in actually the real estate space as an admin in a market where it wasn't really the best market, and then you came in and transitioned into a real estate agent. So you basically saw both sides of the market when it wasn't that, albeit you weren't a realtor at that point, but you were seeing the amount of deals people were doing and then how it slowed down significantly, and then obviously when you came into the market it picked up drastically. What do you think about being a new agent during
Well,
that time?
things did sell themselves, but I was working with a lot of rentals, a lot of renters. So I kind of had to think differently when submitting these offers because the competition was so high. So I had to think out of the box as well when preparing the offers, when sending them out, because we were competing against 5 other people, 6 other people sometimes. Same with sales. So I feel like it kind of helped me think differently as opposed to like 3 years ago
Yeah.
when things were,
More normal.
more normal,
Yeah, yeah,
more
more
standard
normal.
market. So yeah, I had to think out of the box.
Yeah, especially for renters too, right? Because before they had options, right? You kind of had to wait on them, but you had to be more aggressive, right, with your clients. So
Yeah.
I think it definitely we broke barriers, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's this funny meme that I've mentioned to you guys before. This has nothing to do with I'm not adding anything. It's just funny. There's a realtor
This better be funny, bro.
in with a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist goes to him, "Are those offers in the room with you right now?"
Oh.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
man, we
They
were
were
getting
haunting
outbidded,
us.
and we were like, man, gotta send an offer, you know. So
Yeah.
so yeah,
It was I came in during COVID. Like I got my license and then COVID hit. So like all my
Oh.
contracts canceled. So I didn't know what that high was like. I
yeah,
was like, okay, I gotta survive.
yeah.
So like everyone canceled, but then like May, everyone realized, okay, this is not gonna change. So I was able to recuperate. But it was so scary. Like at the end of the day, like I think I came in at the perfect market because if you were not working during COVID, what were you doing?
Yeah.
Like essentially, like
Yeah.
I turned to Steven, I'm like, what do I do? Everyone canceled. And he's like, we're gonna launch CPM like hard. Like we're gonna go and take this full speed.
Well, for the audience, you were an event planner before you became a real estate agent before COVID. And as you can imagine how detrimental COVID was to event planning in general,
Yeah.
you had a few weddings lined up already, and then a lot of them had to just cancel.
Well, yeah. So the
And
wedding,
deposits.
it was just a lot going on. No, but the weddings hadn't. So I was transitioning from. I was still an event planner, and then I got my license and got into real estate. But I was helping Steven that summer right before, so I got a little taste of what the
Yeah.
market was like and how hard you really had to work in this kind of market to just make a deal happen. So I would look at Steven, I'm like, look. And I remember I turned to Isabel, I'm like, my client is literally homeless. Like
I remember
he
that.
had.
No, for
No,
real.
no,
She
like
was
that's
living
it.
in her
she
car.
had lived in
Yeah.
her car, and I wasn't even aware of it. So when I had asked her for her previous address, she gave me her employer, which is the Biltmore. So they would park in front of the Biltmore and
It
sleep
was so
there.
sad.
It was like
Wow.
really sad. And
And
then
they
I
were young,
remember
yeah, very young.
they were
In
like
their
maybe
early 20s.
23, 22, 23. Yes, that's young. That's
Yeah.
very young.
And they pulled, I think to the showing that I went with you, they were there in their car and like,
And her boyfriend, like it's just
Yeah.
really sad. Like I just think I give too much detail. But at the end of the day, like I remember, I remember Giovanni from our One Miami office gave me the lead, and I think he did it to test me because I was like, it was impossible to get these people approved, but we did it, and I got them approved after like the 10th showing, and that's when I realized
yeah,
I was
Chloe
like, I
felt
really
so
like
much
this.
pressure
like,
to get it approved. She's like, I don't care if
Yeah, I
I
was
make
like,
any
I
money
think
on
the
this. I
commission
just
was like
need,
$200.
I just need
It
them
was
to
like
have a
nothing.
home.
That's-
And I
Mario
was
had
Yeah.
the
like,
same
that's-
situation for his first deal.
For
Yeah.
my first deal, for my first rental, man, this guy had a 500 credit score. His wife had like a 460 credit score. Thankfully, they had
It's like
some
the
months
worst.
advanced, and I was able to get a realtor who was also the landlord of that same
Oh,
property.
perfect. Yeah.
Right? And he was
Yeah,
Colombian,
you
so I
wined and dined him.
tackled
You
it,
told
man.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
and
literally, he went
yeah.
to his house and had wine
I
and like a
talked with him
charcuterie
on the
board. It was like the
phone.
weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, for sure. It was weird, but it was awesome because this boy and I came
such a
to his
great guy.
house. And
Hold on, time out. Imagine accepting an offer and be like, "Listen, I think the offer is great, but like honestly, before I can actually commit to this, I'm gonna need you to come over and have wine with me." Like it's the
that's
weirdest
exactly what he did.
interaction.
yeah,
So
and-
what do you usually do in that case? I
You
double
have
down
the
security
wine.
deposits. No, I'm saying like in order to get these offers approved, it's important for people to know like how do you get these offers approved?
With
Because
those
you
credit
have a low
scores.
credit score, you have maybe one of them had a criminal background, right? So what I tend to do is I like to refer back to that person that they rented from last and establish a relationship with that person.
Yeah.
And I also like to make sure
I also like to pray before I send an
Pray on
offer.
all my
You're
deals.
gonna need a
For
lot.
sure.
Of
Yeah.
praying.
There's
It's
definitely a lot of
praying.
praying. But another thing is, how do you position the
offer.
story?
it is a story. Yeah,
of,
essentially
of
it's a
your
story.
client.
of your client, right?
Yeah.
That's another one. The other thing is, man, if you got money in the bank, just pay the whole thing, and that's just
No, but like
if
I'm
they
saying
don't have
If
any
you-
money in
at
the
that
bank,
point
Yeah.
you were,
definitely you gotta.
Well, if
that's
you have
when
bad credit, you're
that's
gonna
when
need
you're
to
a
be pretty
salesman.
liquid.
yeah, when I sent the offer, I would be like, they're gonna pay like 3 security deposits. Like
Right.
that's what they essentially do.
Yeah.
And at that point, they're like, okay, well then she believes in them.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Advance
And that's
You
when,
gotta believe in your
Well,
client. Nobody else is
Mario
gonna do
made
it.
a great point. It's like you got to sell the story, and that's really what I think agents come. I mean, yeah, sure, we could push some paper around and like collect some documents, but really, what I think separates great agents from good agents are their ability to tell the story and sell their client as to why they should have this property. And same for listings. Like you have to be able to sell the property and be instead of a pointer like, oh, there's a kitchen and there's a living room, like that's obvious. Like you have to be able to tell a story and curate
know your
something for the
clients,
lifestyle.
But know your clients because you're
Yeah.
selling them on that specific property. Like if they have kids, like the kids can do homework here, and like you love to cook. Look at the chef's kitchen. Like you want to just walk them through it. I think Steven just did a showing right in Port St. Lucie that we drove to. That it
Yeah,
was. It
2-hour
has
drive.
it has like
It was a 2-hour drive.
It
Yeah.
was a 2-hour drive. Yeah, I won't forget.
I think another big one is sell yourself. Right. If you yourself are not sold on your clients, you're gonna have a very hard time selling somebody else on them. So make yourself believe that your clients are a good deal. Guarantee you it's gonna be a lot easier.
I think you have to be selective though at that point.
Yeah.
I think because
Get
it's
to know your
really
clients.
difficult. Like it's a relationship at the end of the day. If
Right.
you don't click, it's happened to us where we're like, hey, Steven hasn't clicked with the client, and the client's like, you know what? I don't want to work with you anymore. And then Steven's like, go get it, go get it, go get it. And I'll like reach out to them, and they're like, you're so much more different than your husband. And I'm like, yeah, like everybody's just
Awesome. Thanks for making me look
no.
terrible. Let's go
it's
to
just
the
different.
next.
A lot of times, women prefer to work with women. Men prefer to work with
That's
men.
true,
Like
yeah.
it's just
Your-
different. Like
your vibe is your tribe for sure.
You know, I've heard that
that's
a lot
okay. That's fine.
lately, where to be selective with your clients, because as new agents, you know, we're like, we'll take anything.
Yeah.
But sometimes that might not work. And you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste your client's time. So be more selective with your clients for sure. Get to know them. Ask them a bunch of questions. Set up appointments to, get to meet them, have coffee with them before you even sign the agreement.
Don't you love those clients that don't want to talk to you? Like, have you ever been in those awkward situations when you're like trying to get to know your client? They're like, yeah.
I haven't.
Cool. They're like
yet.
super
That's
short.
right. You pull words
Yeah.
out of them.
Yeah, you're like
Teeth.
pulling, like really pulling, and then at the end of it, you're like, "Wow, was it really worth it?" And they end up talking to you at the end of the whole transaction. But
Yeah, you build a rapport. That's none of you guys though.
It's
None
just
of you guys
trust.
watching.
No,
All of
you
you guys
guys-
watching are
you guys
great
are
people,
super
very
cool.
easy to speak to, and just have a
VIPs.
ton to offer. But yeah, but look, I think all of that is great. But there's something that all three of you mentioned, and honestly, walking into this room today, I was kind of like confused. I'm like, there's obviously something going on, and I purposely did not Google anything because I'm like, this is a topic that all three of you want to talk about, and I know nothing about, which is realtor safety. And so again, I'm gonna
I think safety altogether.
I'm
but
going
sure,
to
realtor
leave
safety,
this and let you guys have the floor with this because I don't really know a lot about it. So educate me as to why this has become such a big topic lately.
It's important, not only our physical safety, but also cyber attacks.
Yeah.
So you have to be
yeah.
careful with like people hacking your emails.
Fishing.
Be careful with logging on to public Wi-Fi's. Use your hotspot if you can. What else with the cyber? Oh, also scammy clients.
Ooh, man.
Or no, because we keep a lot of documentation for our clients as well. So you
Right.
have to be very careful.
That's
like
why.
Right.
That's
like
why.
social securities on applications and IDs,
why.
like
Yeah.
they're exposing themselves essentially to their agent. So
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I had this one time. And it was crazy because it was a referral. I mean, you'd expect this from a Zillow lead or something, you know? But pretty much, I got a referral, and it was somebody from Saudi Arabia.
This was January 1st, so the beginning of the year, first
Yeah.
week of 2023.
It's 2023, and they're
That he
referring
gets this
me
call.
to this dad from Saudi Arabia who wants to get his daughter, specifically Shakira's house. He's like, I need you to get me Shakira's house under contract right now.
But he doesn't know which.
He knows which. He knows.
Oh,
He
okay.
knows. He did
He's
his
like-
homework. This guy did his
Okay.
homework.
He's like,
and
I
his-
don't know what house it is, but
but
I just need
I
Shakira's
need
house.
it. You know, and bro, I'm talking about like, you know, like
Yeah,
20
47
million.
million.
Yeah, like
What was it?
like it was
Coco
it was
Plum?
one on Bay Road over there in
In North Bay Road, yeah,
yeah.
on the beach.
on the beach. Bro, and I started working this. Mind you, I had already worked with a client that I rented to from Saudi Arabia. And man, you know those Saudis have money, man. The Saudis have money. So I hit her up and I was like, hey, can you see what this guy is saying? Because he has sent me some things in his language.
It was seeming, you know,
It was
too-
seeming a little to be too good to be true.
Yeah, as he usually
because the
is.
guy was like looking
It was
for
a
a $4
Nigerian
million
prince?
property.
No,
and
he said that his daughter was a princess.
Yeah.
And this
Oh, really?
And, that, and
yeah,
I was
bro,
like,
that's
no,
dude.
look,
I don't know why you wasted so much
no,
time.
no.
I could've
Let me tell
told
you why I wasted time.
Because
Because it
it's your
was a
first time it's happening.
referral from somebody.
yes, that's why. It
Because
wasn't a
this is
random
legit.
person
It
that
was a
called
legit
us.
referral. And
Wait,
so
who referred it?
Don't worry
Your
about it, man.
enemy?
Hey,
No,
Throw his
client,
name.
one of our leads.
Oh,
one of our leads. Long story short, this guy was all talk, and I feel like we got to be careful with those situations, you know.
Yeah, sometimes
So-
you'll get some really crazy leads
Right.
coming in, and it's too good to be true.
Haven't you told me a story about how people would send offers and they'd get on the contract and then they just wouldn't reply?
Oh, thank
Yes.
you.
Sorry, guys.
Our lunch has arrived. Thank you. Okay. I was about to
Oh,
start
Carrot
eating because I'm
Express?
starving.
We keep rolling. We keep rolling.
So-
So say that again.
That you have gotten,
Oh, and they
people-
don't show up?
and they get on their contract, they're buying a house, and then they just don't show up, and you don't hear
So
from
what?
them
The
ever.
closing table?
Yeah,
No.
haven't you told me
No.
this?
Oh yeah, no. I had a seller who didn't show up to the closing table.
No, yeah,
No,
but
but
no,
it's
no, no.
scammers.
But that's not a
Scammers.
scam.
So
Oh,
what we've
yeah,
had
yeah.
is what people have told us that they've arrived at a final walkthrough where they've paid a landlord, not personally, but where they've paid the landlord and it was a scam. There was no landlord. The house was never for rent. It's privately owned. That's
But that
the
happened
scammy.
to me recently with one of my listings that I had for sale. I get a call from a buyer who was just like, "Hey, I just want to verify this with you because I've been speaking to this random guy, whatever his name's. I don't even know what his name is." He's like, "Does he work for you?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Is this your listing?" Like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, well, he's saying that he's the owner and that he can send me the contract and that we can meet at the property or whatever."
Mhm.
And I'm like, I don't even know how you would meet at the property because I have the keys to the property. So I don't know how that's even possible. But there's obviously scams where people would pose as an owner, meet with the buyer there, collect like a cashier's check or a money order, and then send a fictitious contract that they make up and with the, obviously a fictitious name, send it. It seems like all legit. They'll put them in contact even with like a fake title company who's like a buddy of theirs, like, yeah, here's your escrow letter,
Crazy.
and then they just bounce. So when you guys talk about realtor safety, are you talking about realtor safety for us real estate agents, or are you talking about safety for the buyer who doesn't have a real estate agent who may
I'm
not?
talking to the agents.
in general,
I'm
agents.
talking to,
Yeah,
all my
same.
colleagues out there that might get that scammy client coming in, that you're like, wow, like, thank you, God, for this $4 million lead. Be careful, be careful with your cyber attacks. Don't log on to those public Wi-Fis.
Yeah.
And also be careful sharing too much stuff on social media.
Facts.
You don't want to
Like-
post in real time. You don't want to say how long you're going to
Yeah,
be in
where
this
you're gonna
area.
be somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. So we have a new agent, Olivia. So Olivia, come say hi. Come.
Olivia.
She's here.
Pull up
So
a chair.
Olivia-
Pull up a chair for Olivia, please.
Here, Olivia. No worries. Olivia's like, oh man, I was working. So Olivia just joined our team this week, and we have Michelle who's also on our team. Do we have any other team members? No, right?
Michelle is in our team. She's unfortunately not here, so we have 2 new members. But I think the point is to get the perspective of a new agent. But also the team is growing. So if you guys are interested in joining the Vargas team, apparently
We
now
go through a
we're-
process though,
yeah.
but yes.
we're open to accept. Actually, anyways.
Anyways, so when it comes to realtor safety, I just had the conversation with Olivia that like it's super important. All of the cyber stuff is really important and social media and all that, but physically being there. I have heard time and time again, Miami is very known for being heavy on women realtors. Like this is just what it is. You can see what's our percentage, right? I think it's like
I don't know, significant, but I think that's generally
in real estate. Yeah.
yeah.
But what's worrying me in this economy is people are getting desperate. And at that point, it just starts feeling like Miami has become a little bit unsafe, at least when it comes to showings. I'm a little bit more cautious now, like where I go, if I'm not going by myself, if I am going by myself, you know, usually Steven's tracking me. You always have someone that knows exactly where you are at all times. And just carry around like pepper spray, because I have had situations, which I had mentioned to Olivia, where I did a showing and I was like 7 months pregnant and
Which I told you not to do.
which you told me not to do,
Yeah.
but I still went, and I got a little weird like vibes from this
I
client.
remember.
You remember, and you ended up showing up, and I got a little weird vibe, so I didn't get out of my car, and he's like, "Hey, where are you?" And it was like in the Grove in like this old building. And I'm like, oh, I'm running late. I'll be there in like 15 minutes. And I called Steve. I'm like, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm at the house. I'm like, okay, come. I'm like, I'm not
No, you
feeling
told me
cool.
that you opened the door and that he went straight to the
Wait,
balcony.
no, but
like that he didn't look at anything in
Yes.
the house, and he's like, I love this
Because
place.
he had already, yeah. So he had done it the first
and
time.
then he wanted you to go to the balcony or something. He was like really
Yeah.
pressing you to go there, and then something like that. And then
You
you called
showed up.
me.
So
Yeah.
then he shows up because luckily it was by the house. And he's like, you know what? Remember, he goes,
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah, I
It's
gotta
okay.
go,
Never mind. I gotta go. I gotta go.
It was.
And
it was
so I
kinda
look
odd.
at Steven and I was like, this
Sketchy.
is really weird. Like, I just got weird vibes. I'm like, I'm 7 months pregnant. I'm like, this is too much. And so when I got home, I text him, like, you know, the follow-up text. I'm like, hey, I was wondering if you really like the property.
like
If you
that
don't,
balcony.
I know you you really like the balcony.
Did you like
I'm
that balcony I showed you?
If you don't, you know, I'll show you the property. I really wanted to see what he would say, and he
Yeah.
never responded.
Ghosted you.
So
Yeah.
just be really careful. Like, I feel like if Steven hadn't showed up behind me, he would have been like, I don't know. I just
I
assumed the
think.
worst all
Look,
the time.
No.
Mario and I have an experience, but the experience
Huh?
pales
No,
in
you won't.
comparison. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oops. Okay, go.
The experience pales in comparison as being a male real estate agent. I always feel like as women and
We're gonna
young
attack
women,
you?
no, like you guys have to be you guys have to be extra vigilant is my point.
Yeah.
Like you, if anything, you have a bigger target on your back is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like even me as a guy and Mario as, you know, a guy who's texting in the middle of a podcast, you know, we go out
Working
and
those
we have, you know, a certain level of maybe false security that we kind of walk around with, that we're like, you know, yeah, of course anything can happen, but ultimately, you know, it's not gonna happen to us. You know, we have this thing.
Wait, it happened to you. Were you on the phone one time and you got attacked in downtown?
What?
Yeah, that was
a
a
homeless guy.
That was a whole other thing.
Listen, I'm telling you.
Well, that was
guys-
before I was in real estate,
Oh
though.
yeah,
that was a
but that's what
while
I'm
ago.
saying.
Yeah.
But you're still in downtown
Yeah, I
Miami,
was in
so it's
downtown
like
Miami.
just be
Downtown
really
Miami then was a
careful.
different time.
Guys,
But-
we live on these
But the
things,
point
like-
is, you all three as women, and maybe you can lend to the conversation as how do you feel knowing that many times real estate is almost like a lone wolf sport. Sure, you have a team,
Yeah.
we can lean on each other, we could talk, we can do things like this, but at the end of the day, we all have to go back to our respective offices and homes and go to our clients, and a lot of the business is done out in the real world without any of us present. So how do you does that even cross your mind
No.
when you go out?
I
and
mean, I
like,
just think it's your personality trait. I think that if you are a person that has no, like, it's not that you don't have drive, but you need to have some kind of oomph in you to know that, hey, if I don't work tomorrow, I'm not going to get paid. So
it's not about not wanting to work. It's about
No, I'm
like
not
being
saying no.
scared about going out at 8 o'clock at night,
No,
meeting with
so you
meeting with
limit.
an essentially a
So
stranger.
Women are primarily, and this is factual, we're very good at time management for the most part. Men are not so good.
What
so
does that have to do
I'll
with
tell you
going
why.
out?
I'll tell you why.
Sexist,
So
bro.
if you are good with time management, you
sexist.
know you shouldn't be doing a showing at 8 o'clock
That
at
has
night.
nothing
Yes,
to
you.
do.
I
Yes,
want the
it does.
comments.
Yes, it
I
does.
want
Hold
all
on.
the comments here.
Hold on.
If
Hold
a
on.
client,
It does.
if a
I'll t-
client calls you and says, "I get out of work at 7, can you meet me there at 7:30, 8 o'clock?" Your time management schedule goes out the. It's such a moot point. Like
No,
it has
because you
nothing
have-
to
Just set
do.
boundaries.
No, you
just
set-
set the boundaries.
You could
Thank you,
say
Mario.
I don't do showings at
So
8 o'clock
I
at night, but
personally
that,
do not do showings past like 7 o'clock at night. I do not do showings on Sundays. I have set my boundaries from the very
cool. But
beginning.
not everybody has
1000%.
that ability to do so.
It was a question towards me.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was. Go for it.
So what I tend to do is I'll say, like, listen, even when I started, even when I had you, I always had you track my phone and know exactly where I was at. I always carried pepper spray. I'm aware of my surroundings. If I'm meeting with a client I've never met, you know that I'm meeting them on the weekend or early in the morning. If they cannot meet me early in the morning, we push the showings to the weekend. It is safety first above all else.
I get it. Nobody's gonna
So
mess with you.
1,000, but I think it's like that
Okay.
for Olivia and
No,
Isabel.
let
Like,
them
we're
let
very
them
aware.
let them talk. How do you guys feel about the situation? Is Chloe right? I think she's like 75% right, but
I mean, I have Mario, luckily, so he's always tracking. Whenever I'm meeting somebody, like you said, that I've never met before, I tell him, hey, look out, this is where I'm going. I'm going to be showing these properties. Or sometimes I'll even have him come with me if
Yeah.
he's like,
And be in the car.
yeah, if he's available.
But when they're so busy, it's basically
yeah, it's tough.
When they're so busy, it is tough. But I
Visible-
mean, I'm aware of my surroundings. I make sure I know where the exits are. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm close to my car.
Right.
My car is right there. Like it's not, super far in the
Yeah.
parking lot.
Olivia, how do you feel as a new agent who is just getting
In a
into
new
this
city?
business in a new
Yeah.
city with very little family here? You told me, right? Because
Yes.
most of your family is up north.
Correct.
How do you feel meeting with strangers at night in a town that maybe you don't even know that well, right? Because one thing is, Isabel, you grew up here, so you kind of know your way. You know the lay of the land,
I've
right?
been here for 12 years.
Okay.
I'm a local now.
Right. So you're a local, but Olivia isn't. So does that ever cross your mind, or you're kind of just like, no, I gotta grind. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, I would say Brooklyn downtown compared to a lot of other areas in Miami is safer. But I think just the way Chloe was mentioning that women have very good time management, I think we also tend to have very good intuition. So I think
Oh,
it's
that's true.
key. You really just have to be aware of who you're speaking to. If you get a funny feeling about a prospect, then I know you actually gave me the advice, maybe bring somebody with you if it's a later showing and you can't, you don't have that time management. So I think just being aware is always important, but something it does need to be in the back of your mind. Safety has to come first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you were the one who told me about that it was a article that came out, right? About a real estate agent who got attacked. And I think that's
it
the
was
whole
like
reason why you're
years
bringing this
ago.
topic.
It was in Miami, and the article came out that she went to a showing, and he had a knife, and I think
Held
he
her
locked,
hostage or
he
something?
held her hostage, but she had her boyfriend or her dad on her phone, and she immediately had a weird feeling about this guy, and I think the dad called 911, and luckily 911 called like the. I think the HOA or somebody, and somebody actually
wow.
opened the door. Like he locked everything, they got in, and he had her like at gunpoint or a knife or whatever, and they were able to like
That's like my biggest
smooth
fear
over
for you.
yeah.
Which is
I
why
think that's really
you do
what got
mostly
me
property
into
management.
like. That's why I do mostly property management. Like he keeps me home, guys. Like
But
unless no, I do
isn't that a
showings,
cool
but-
feature that we found out because of that was like you tap 5 times on the
So
on the
setup, we should really share that at least.
Yeah,
There's
we'll
like a setting, your emergency
link-
setting.
hopefully
We'll
link a
the
video.
TikTok. There's
Yeah.
even like a TikTok video on
you
it.
like click 5 times
to
on
get
the,
on TikTok
on the
to
side
this?
button.
There's
Or-
an app now,
I
like
mean-
one provided by the Association of Realtors for realtors.
Oh, yeah?
Where you're like logging in where you're at and like
That's
a
if
lot
you
of
don't
work.
Come out. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah. No, before you get to your showings. But like
Ask for
they
your
kinda-
face ID.
don't
Can you
leave me yet.
verify the last 4 of your social?
You know what I mean?
Before we
Wait, no,
send
but
anybody.
I was telling Steven, I was like, I don't feel safe. So I started running. And so like, I don't feel safe on like the main street where we run as a team. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes I'm doing it by myself. So he got me an Apple Watch. And when you double click the Apple, I don't like wearing it because it's to me, the accessory piece is just a little off for me, but it's not bad.
The functionality
The
of it, yeah.
functionality makes sense. So like if I do have a showing like I'll feel unsafe, I'll just put it on and be like, you just double click and it automatically contacts him and 911. So
Yeah, and it has your location too.
and it has your location, like everything you need. And then if you need to like randomly text somebody, it's there. Granted, they may take it off of you if something happens, but at least you got to. It's much easier than having this on you. So that's
Wow.
that's
so
it.
this
Do you have pepper spray, Olivia?
I'm planning on getting
So
it.
they have a pepper
Yeah.
spray tasers thing. I think once the what was it that just had the war and everything? They went like on back order. The taser pepper sprays on Amazon.
there's a combo taser
Yeah.
pepper spray
Yeah,
now.
there's a taser pepper
That's
spray.
a
And he's like,
terrible.
no, it's
If you
not.
get
It's
tased
a
and pepper sprayed at the
multifunction.
same time, that's like
You're
yeah,
blind,
it's
and then you
like
taser them.
man.
What's the move?
It's
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I got you.
It's
girl.
like
I got you.
I don't know.
With your
Anyways, look,
glasses
this conversation has gotten a little too heavy, so I'm gonna bring it into something more,
Refreshing.
yeah, more
Yeah.
lighthearted, which it may not be for some people, but we have we need to start trying to wrap this up. And there's a few other topics I want to talk about, which is
Are we bringing up Halloween? I just want to know because
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
get Sarah ready.
We'll have yeah. Sarah has a lot of things that she's gonna mention. Hold off for a second. I promise we'll get to it. But before we get to those points, I do want to talk about how the interest rate has skyrocketed. I think it's like sub 8 or whatever, or it's right at 8, or it could even be over. I don't know. Who knows these days, because the Fed raises it like
Isn't it
every
like
other
at
day.
8 already?
It's like at 8. But the point is, it's the highest it's been in over 20 years. And so we're looking at interest rates that are affecting people's purchasing power. People are like, if you do the math, from a 4% interest rate, which we were not too long ago, to an 8% interest rate, most homes are costing about $1,000 to $1,500 more a month for the same cost of the home just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So not only is inflation higher where the cost of goods is more expensive, but now your mortgage payment is more expensive for the same property. And oh, by the way, prices went up. So that same property you could have bought 2 years ago, you can no longer buy anymore. So it really is squeezing people out of the market. However, surprisingly, transaction volumes have picked up. I know a lot of people are busier than ever now towards the end of the year than they were at the beginning of the year, because the beginning of the year was a very weird dead time. And now it's starting to pick up, even with interest rates going up. So it is kind of this weird kind of dichotomy of like, yes, technically speaking, interest rates are going up, transactions should slow down, but that's not really happening. And so what are your thoughts on interest rates going up, and what do you guys think is going to happen if interest rates next year start to go down?
I love how you look at me. I was getting ready for Mario to answer this question
I think-
because
Whoa,
I'll
whoa.
jump into whatever
Jump
you.
into it. Go
No,
ahead.
you know what?
So
I think you've said enough.
No, I
okay.
have not. So I honestly think interest rates, I think they're going to go down in like the next year. I think everyone's freaking out right now. What I don't agree with is people just holding off to buy later. I think everyone's just in this scare mode right now, and we are jumping into holiday season. Everyone's just trying to like save their money, and I completely get that. The issue now is there's very less inventory, but the inventory that is still available is still good, right? Because people are that desperate to sell. They know they're desperate, and so what's happening is interest rates are staying high, but this is still a good time to buy because, like I've said in previous podcasts, you can always refinance. My worry is
Date the
come the
rate?
new year, rates are gonna go down, but Giovanni.
Oh wow.
Rates are
Sorry.
gonna go down as far as interest rates, but prices are demand's gonna go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no
That's my
matter
point.
what, you're always gonna have this fluctuating pattern. I prefer this pattern versus what's coming in the next year. That's my personal
what do you think? Do you share the same sentiment as Miss DiPietro Vargas here?
I do, because number one, for you guys that don't know, obviously, I don't think you would know this. Cervera just did a great training yesterday with Dan Elzer, and he mentioned one thing that really stuck with me. Right, when people are scared, that's when you should buy. Right, and when people are being greedy, that's when you should be scared.
That's a Warren
Right?
Buffett quote.
Right,
but
Warren
go
Buffett
for it.
quote. Right, he quoted him. I'm quoting Dan.
You're quoting Dan, who quoted Warren.
Quoted Warren.
Go.
But it's true.
Scared money
right?
don't make money.
Right,
Sorry.
scared money don't make
Sorry.
no money. You know.
I had to say that.
Chloe is on one today.
No man, if I ever go broke, I'm gonna take your money. You know?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Sorry.
No,
I got
it's-
excited. We have our new team member here. Sarah's here, so
We're giddy.
we're good.
That's what happens when Chloe doesn't have lunch. All right.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So
And what he
What
said
was
the
I
same
going
thing.
with?
He said the same
so
thing.
pretty much he's saying, look, come next year, rates, let's say, drop. Everybody who's waiting
Yeah.
on the sidelines
yeah.
right now
Mhm.
is gonna jump into the market, and it's gonna be the same thing all over again. It's
Yeah.
gonna be snowballing, and people are gonna then again not be able to buy.
Very competitive
me?
again.
And yeah, I mean, I'm before you guys, I would have answered that all day. I just got a text from my landlord saying, "Hey, we got to talk about our options because Isabel and I are thinking about buying our place." And
Oh, I thought you got that under contract already.
no, we're trying to see what happens. So I got stressed out just now, but yeah, I got super stressed
Talking
out.
about that.
That's a topic for
Talking-
another
listen,
It
I'm
podcast.
hits
telling you.
home. It hits home, man.
Rentals are super high.
Yeah, it's
so
like,
like
what do you
people are
do?
holding on not buying, but rental rates are still going up. So you're just like, okay, is it worth getting a mortgage and paying a high interest rate, or is it worth actually like paying a high rent? And to Steven and I'm like, listen, if it's an
Depends.
investment, we're willing to buy it. And we just got into another seller financing deal. So then that makes sense for us, right? But if it comes to like buying our property and we're not 100% sold on it, the one thing I do tell my clients all the time, if you are not like, I think at least 80% in love, because you're never going to be 100%. It's not your property. You didn't build it.
Yeah.
If you're not like 80% obsessed with your property and know that this is the one for you, don't
You're not
buy it.
100% in love with me.
No, baby, in love and housing are two different things.
Sorry.
But 80%, and so like I just told my client yesterday, I was like, if there's 5 things that check off on this property, get it. Because you're never gonna have a perfect property. So if you can check off your 5 top options, go with it. That just follow your gut and go with it. But do not sit on the sidelines and then complain that you didn't have the opportunity because you did.
Crime,
Yeah,
bro.
right now you have the chance to, get that property that you like with 5 things. Next year, no.
Yeah.
You're not
I
gonna have
said
that.
it, and we said it 2
You'll
years
like
ago.
one
We
thing.
said
You'll
it.
have like
You're
one
like, oh,
thing.
one
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's one thing. It's a home.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's it.
Fact.
You can actually walk in there. I think that fear paralyzes a lot of people. And there's a lot of people that, man, when interest rates were 2.5%, they weren't buying. They're like, oh, prices are too high. I'm just going to wait for it to come down. And then when prices do come down, they're like, oh, it's going to even go even lower. And then when they
Agreed.
go back up, they're like, oh, I missed the boat. I'll just wait for the next cycle. Fear paralyzes people to make a decision. Like I always tell people, I'm like, not making a decision is a decision. So you have to just go into the market understanding what's best for you and your financial situation. I don't think buying is best for everybody and every stage of life. I do think that if you're going to wait smart. Put your money to work for you, whether that's in a treasury bond, like you and I buy treasury notes, or whether you put that in a CD account, or whether you put it in the S&P 500. You putting your money in an account and leaving it there, just waiting for the market to die. Inflation is going to eat it. The property values are going to go up, and even if they go down, the money that you had saved is not even going to be worth what it was when you had it saved. So you're doing nothing essentially.
You're still
So-
making a decision.
When you hear real estate agents who are like basically telling you buy real estate, you're like, yeah, you're saying that because that's how you make money. Absolutely, that is how we make money. We need to feed our family, but that doesn't make the message wrong. Like two things can be true. I do need to feed my family, and this is still a good investment for you to make given the options that are currently available on the market. Real estate still happens to be, historically speaking, and to this day, one of the best investments that you can make, in accordance to all other options that you have, stocks and businesses and all the like, right?
Yep.
So when you consider and you weigh all those options, real estate is still a good option. But does that mean that you should buy real estate at this moment? No. I mean, again, it depends on where you are in life. But I do agree with Chloe. Rents aren't going to get any better. I don't think prices are going to get any better when the interest rates go down. And I was just talking to my buddy Will. Shout out to Will. If you're
Will
watching this,
Beckham
Will Beckham.
Insurance,
Yeah.
if
So
you need it.
I had this conversation with him because I own a lot of investment properties, and every year, man, he sends me a renewal that these carriers are increasing it, and thankfully I have Will because he like keeps them at bay and he gives me really good options and stuff like that. But sometimes there's nothing you can do, and then the insurance just goes up 50% or 80%, right? And I was always waiting as a person like, oh, insurance is going to get better. The government is going to solve this. They're going to get new carriers into the market. And what's going to happen? The rates are going to go back down. We're just in this weird time. And then I see an article that comes out and says, hey, that new legislation that's being passed for insurance, you think that's going to help you on prices? Guess again, it's not. We are in a new normal. Those prices that were before COVID are non-existent for insurance, for real estate, and everything else. So if you just
Food.
if you just adapt to that, this is the new
Essentials.
normal, these prices
Yeah.
are no longer expensive because you keep referring to prices that happened 5 years ago and saying, how is it worth $1 million if 5 years ago it was 250,000?
Yeah.
Now,
Never
if-
going to see that again.
What I would like to tell people, because I have gotten a lot of questions, should I sell? Like, should I move? Should I leave Miami? If you're thinking about leaving Miami and you're comfortable with leaving Miami, leave Miami. I think if there's ever a time to sell your property, it's probably now. And I think that if there's ever a time to move up north, because everyone's telling me, let's move up north, northern Florida. Everyone's doing it. So before it gets really expensive up there and then completely defeats the purpose of why you even left Miami,
It's pretty expensive up
yeah,
there
it's
already.
still
Already.
pretty expensive, but it hasn't gotten to where I think it's gonna get.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
that's
so,
just a
so,
decision you have to make.
so one last thing that I wanted to talk about, because I think podcast is getting a little longer. We have some weird people in the podcast
Oh
studio.
my god.
What is that? Is that for us?
Yeah,
That's for us?
So
Oh, I
that's,
appreciate you.
Holy.
Appreciate you.
that's cheddar cheesecake right
Okay.
there, man. Oof.
Why don't you tell
Oh,
about
that's
your
one of the
first
cheesecakes.
remodel experience, and we'll wrap this up real
Oh.
quick in 5 words. Great. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Tune in next time.
So-
So you have a
Wait,
property.
wait,
You have a
we're
property.
gonna keep doing this?
No, yeah, real
I thought
quick.
we're done.
No,
You
we're
just
about
want
to
to
be
jump
done.
to have the cheesecake.
Yeah, I know. This
but
guy
we're
saw
trying to
cheesecake and
finish
he
it.
like
You're
forgot,
here.
he
No,
forgot to be a
super-
professional.
We're like,
All right, you got 2 minutes to tell the story on the first remodel. I'm actually interested in hearing it, believe it or not.
Oh man. Well, first remodel,
Well, tell him you own a
I
property. You need a
I
rental.
don't even want to talk about it, to be honest with
Oh,
you.
really?
I say we leave it
You
for
brought it up.
I
Oh
brought it up,
wow, you're
but-
gonna leave this on a
All right,
cliffhanger?
Sarah, hit me
It
with
was
the
on a
Halloween
cliffhanger.
All right,
events, girl. Let's go.
hold on,
I need,
hold on, hold on,
I
hold
need
on.
to know
Hold
what's
on.
happening for
Here's what
Halloween.
here's
I
what
can't do
here's what
this.
we'll do. He's gonna save that,
Okay.
and if
I'll
this
save
video
that one.
gets 100 likes, he will talk about it in the next podcast video. So
Awesome.
save that. Okay, cool. What's the last
You better
topic?
come with your points next time. Okay, so for Halloween, we're in the Miami area. If you are in the Miami area, there's some things I'd like you to check out. So if you are a parent that's looking for some cool spots nearby and you want to get out with the kids on the 31st, there is Coconut Grove, I believe, Coral Way, and then the Doral City Place is hosting an event for kids, and I think it's in the afternoon. So for those parents that you're too cool for school, but that you want to get out and about, you can do that. Isabel, do you have any other tidbits? Is the Grove still like popular at night for like adults?
The Grove is
Lincoln
nice,
Road for
man.
adults. The Grove, Lincoln Road is good. Bring your costumes.
Where are you guys going for Halloween?
What are we doing? We never do anything.
Oh.
We actually got
I'm
invited.
No, this
super
guy didn't
chill.
you dress up
I'll
like
watch
a?
the
Like a
podcast.
hot dog, yeah.
Client's housewarming.
I got
Halloween
one of my
party.
clients that I recently rented to
Yeah.
is invited me to a housewarming party
Wow.
this weekend.
We're
Nice.
going.
Dude, if any of my clients are watching, none of you guys invited me to house party. What's up?
Hey man, you got to do a better job.
We have clients that become friends.
I didn't say that. I just said I didn't get invited.
No invites to
Well,
me.
maybe last minute invite.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
all right.
Guys,
all right.
next.
All right.
Thank
Next.
you.
This isn't about us. What are you doing for Halloween?
I was just gonna say, if you have kids or you work super late or you have a busy day like us, you should see what your condo association is doing because I
Oh,
know
that's
my
true, yeah.
condo association always throws like a little party, and
Little
it's a
mixer.
great way to meet people in your building, prospect for your realtor. So
Yeah, tell me
it's
you're a
great.
realtor, yeah.
So
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah,
Come with like a little bag of candy and just start.
Oh, for sure, with your card.
so we're
Staple your
planning
cards
we're
for
planning a
point.
trip to Busch Gardens for the
Oh, I
first.
haven't been there. in
Yeah,
forever.
I've never been.
Those are
Oh, really?
Halloween
And
plans.
it's just so you guys know, it's my birthday. So
When is it?
On the
Aw,
1st
happy
Of
birthday.
November?
of November, yeah.
Oh, we're out of town that week,
We
right?
are
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So pretty much
We
Halloween.
We just booked that right
Wow.
Just kidding. Are you doing anything for your birthday that we can attend?
Not with you
No.
guys. No.
now. Oh, you're not doing it.
No,
over
I'm just
there,
kidding.
Well,
No,
Isabel's
we're
birthday is
gonna
at the
go
end
to
of the month,
we're gonna
right?
go we're gonna go to Busch
Ooh.
Gardens. So
Okay.
we
cool.
gotta figure out what days
Definitely
we're
won't
gonna-
be there, but we'll FaceTime you or something.
Yeah, I'll send you guys a picture.
I'll
from the
invite you
roller
guys
coasters.
to my birthday. Don't worry. It's at the
Yeah.
end of November.
Thanks, Isabel. I also think that for Halloween,
day?
really cool is the Harry
29.
Potter
Oh,
World
27.
and Universal. They're like doing a bunch of events for Halloween. So and the
Really?
fall,
If
it's
you got-
really cool.
If you got 27,000 to blow to go to Harry Potter World, then go for
How,
it.
is it that expensive?
Disney's more expensive. Sorry.
Harry
Universal.
Potter World is not in Disney.
No.
Where is it?
Universal. Jesus, you could tell you're
I
not.
know.
Bro,
We
I
don't.
know.
It's my first time going to Busch Gardens, bro. I'm
I
trying.
know, but not Disney. Come on. Anyways, Sarah, you had some really cool points that you were gonna point out that you were
What
like.
were it?
Yeah,
What were it?
Yeah.
What were the
You said you were gonna say restaurants. Doma.
What is it?
No, Doma is another
Donna?
restaurant, right?
Montauk Donna. What is it?
Oh, Casa Donna.
Casa
Casa
Donna.
Donna.
Oh,
Group hospitality, same owner as Komodo.
Oh, yeah.
This is the one.
Good review so
Peacock.
far.
It's in
Dave
Edgewater.
Is this the one
Grutman.
in Edgewater?
Oh,
that's
it's
a
at the
show.
So
women's.
I
At the
haven't,
women's
I
center.
haven't been there, but I can guarantee it's a club mixed with the restaurant already.
Yes,
Exactly. So if you
yes.
like that Miami vibe, I think we
Club
popularized that. Yeah. If you
And
like
you said
club
another
restaurant.
one.
There was
Pasties.
Pasties in
and there was
Winwood.
Bouchon and Coral Gables, another really good.
Bouchon and
brand
Coral
new.
Gables.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Good. So
Lunch.
you guys should definitely check
You
this
know
out if
we're
you're
old
40.
when we're excited that our Indian restaurant's coming to Doral.
Yeah,
Like,
Bombay
that's
Darbar.
like-
I'm super excited because Bombay
It's
is
coming
like,
to Doral.
yeah, Coconut Grove is killing it with the restaurants. Like,
Everything,
Yes.
And it's
bro.
so nice
Man.
to be there. I feel like they have
I
everything.
the sweet green there. I love.
I
the
love sweet green.
Yeah.
Sweet
Yeah.
green's
Love
great.
Sweet
but
Green.
Sawstraw
Sun
is
Straw
Sugar
right next door.
Rush.
Oh my
Sawstraw
god.
is the best ice cream in Miami.
Yeah.
it's so
Bro, the
good.
guava and cheese.
When I was in high school,
Vegan mint, man.
Have you
Oh,
guys
that's
been
what I
to
get.
Kid Treats?
Oh,
you guys love kids treats, but it's in the beach,
I
right?
can't
No,
do
No,
dairy.
we're
there's-
in Winwood,
there's,
in Design District.
Design
Oh,
District, and it's
okay, so that's a
amazing.
little
And
better.
it's awesome. It's awesome.
You know, I
No, I
love the
haven't been
design district. I just think that when I go, parking is such a nightmare. That
It's
I'm
not
like,
as
and
bad as
everybody
garages.
wants to be there, and I'm like, it's a lot of effort to go shopping. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm just like, I'd rather just buy it online or go to Aventura.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's a
I just
day.
think it's like a Miami place.
It's
to
a
be,
day
you know?
thing, you know. You go, you dress up, you know. You see other people dress up. You want to go. You want to eat
Spend
on
money
there.
you
You
don't wanna
spend money.
Yeah.
The parking. There's no street parking, so you do have to get like
The
in
garage.
the garage. But hey, I think it's fun.
The
It's not
restaurants
an
are cool.
issue,
I like
yeah.
there's
The
a lot
price
of
you
good food
pay.
They have
there.
Contessa. That one's
I haven't been in
amazing.
Contessa. though.
Swan.
What's the other one? The
Swan.
Mediterranean one there? What is
We have Michael's Genuine also.
Michael's
Michael's
Genuine
Genuine
is
Love
really
great.
Michael's
good.
Genuine.
That one's,
Anyway,
that
so
one's gonna be
Coke
fun.
too.
what I was telling is the best brunch is in the Sataya Jaya. We just
Yeah.
went there. And we're probably gonna go there again.
Well, don't tell everybody. It's-
Yeah, we'll ruin it because it's super popular.
It'll book
Anyways,
up.
okay. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in and hearing us blab about real estate stuff and non-real estate stuff. And thank you, Sarah, for being our producer
Filling in. Thank you,
for,
Sarah.
for the day.
We're not
And,
recording
yeah.
it.
We're not recording. None of this got
This whole
recorded.
thing is mute right now.
Anyways, if you found value somehow in today's video, make sure to like, subscribe, share the video, and let us know in the comment section below if you want to hear Mario's remodel story or any other topics you want us to talk about in the next video. And until then, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.